All right. Good morning, everybody. I guess depending on where you are, where I am here in the Eastern time zone, we've only got a few minutes of morning left. But good morning to everybody west of where I am. If any of our audience is joining us from across the ocean, well, good afternoon or good evening to you as well. Glad that you're joining us here for another of our Meet the Speaker series. The EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting is coming up November 1st through 3rd in Austin, Texas. And if you haven't heard about it before, it's the business conference for entrepreneur architects. In fact, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to small firm entrepreneur architects. And I know that November sounds like a long time from now, but the conference will be here before you know it. So I've started this live stream series to introduce to you all of the fantastic speakers that will be at the conference. And then they'll all be back to give you a little bit of a teaser about their talks. So, with that, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name's Jeff Eckles. If we've never met before, I'm the Director of Brand Strategy for EntreArchitect. It's the largest worldwide community of small firm architects. I'm also the host of Context and Clarity Live. And to continue our Meet the Speaker series today, I'm joined by someone that I think you could benefit from knowing. But rather than having me ramble through some sort of introduction, let me just ask, who are you and what do you do?
Thanks so much, Jeff. My name is Joyce Marter, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. And yes, I think we all can benefit from a good therapist. And I'm an excited entrepreneur. I built and successfully sold Urban Balance, which is a national outpatient mental health company. So I love helping entrepreneurs leverage the psychology of money. And I published a book called The Financial Mindset Fix. It's a mental fitness program for an abundant life. And in it, I share everything that I learned from 25 years of counseling professionals, as well as my own entrepreneurial journey, on how our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs around money shape our financial reality, and how we can use some practical tools and tips to really leverage that and expand our businesses and achieve holistic success. So, not just financial prosperity, but mental well being and supported, connected relationships and work life balance, all of which is especially important now during the pandemic.
Yeah, that really resonates with me because we just had a team meeting, a context and clarity team meeting yesterday, and um, we often have on context and clarity, or sometimes have on context and clarity, people that come on and talk about fees, that talk about pricing, the value of your services, things like that. And in our team meeting yesterday, we once again realized that a lot of these people just in in that narrow niche of how do you figure your fees, a lot of these people that we talk to are presenting ideas that require a lot of us to have a different mindset about the way that we're approaching money, the way that we're approaching the value that we create or the value of our service. So mindset has been coming up a lot. It's in that narrow niche, and I know that for the business owners, most of our community, most of the audience who will be here for this conversation are small business owners. There are people that have left another firm probably for whatever reason. Several have started, more than several, a whole handful of people have started their own firms since the beginning of the pandemic, right, for different reasons. But I think one of the things that often trips us up, that we often struggle with, are we've called it money mindsets, and I love the fact that that's part of what you're focused on.
Absolutely. I noticed a really interesting trend early on in my therapy practice. As my clients started to make progress in therapy, they started to earn more money. Client after coming in, sharing raises and promotions and starting their own businesses. And I was like, why is this happening? Because we're not even talking about money. And I realized it's because there's a huge connection between self worth and net worth. And in therapy, we're always working on embracing our self-worth and improving our self-esteem. And as we feel more confident, we put ourselves out in the world differently. We assert ourselves, we negotiate, we're willing to expand our comfort zones. And I realized myself as an entrepreneur, I built my business. I started it with $500. I had 50,000 of student loan debt. At one point, I put a lien on my home. At one point, I ended up in cash flow hell and thought I would have to file business bankruptcy. I realized that I was sabotaging by basically overgiving and underpricing myself, undervaluing myself. And I applied skills from my clinical training to help myself and help my business. And I was able to sell it for a 7-figure multiple a few years ago. So more money than I would have ever imagined making in a lifetime. And you can do this too. It really starts with our mindset, how we think about money, what are our beliefs that we learned in our family of origin, and how might that be causing us self-limitation. I tended to think about I wanted to earn just enough to cover my bills and be comfortable, but I always ended up achieving that amount, but not more. And it wasn't until I really expanded my thinking that my business really prospered. And we have to realize that when we have more, we can help more. It's not greedy. When we prosper, we can hire more people. We can slide our fees for clients in need. We can offer pro bono services. We can even become philanthropists. So it's really about becoming our best self, both personally and professionally. I call it the psychology of success and manifesting abundance in your life.
I love that. You're speaking the language of many small firm architects. Absolutely. As you were talking about the origin story, telling basically the origin story of your business that you eventually sold. I thought, I've heard this before, right? I've heard this from architects. I've heard this from other small business owners, and I think what you're saying resonates with this community because there are a lot that are underpricing themselves for a lot of different reasons. But I think that the psychology aspect that you're speaking of is a big part of it. We a couple of weeks ago on Context and Clarity, we talked a lot about imposter syndrome. And that's one of the things that came up as you were just talking is there are a lot of people, for whatever the reasons are, there are a lot of people that have this imposter syndrome, and we can see that manifesting itself in the ways that we're doing business. Um, so I think everything that you're saying is probably it's exciting. Anybody that's watching this, I see Jefferson has joined us from Los Angeles. Welcome back, Jefferson. Glad you're here. But anybody that's watching this either now or in the future that is a small business owner, especially a small architecture firm, or maybe a sole practitioner, this is lighting up for them because you might be talking directly into their brain at this point. Do you work with individuals at this point, or how I know you've written the book and I know you're out speaking. Um, how else are you engaging with people out there that need what you're sharing here?
Well, at this point, I have retired from my therapy practice. I do
Good for
offer
you.
individual coaching. I've done it for 25 years and found it emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually
Sure.
rewarding. But I enjoy sharing what I've learned at this point through blogging. I blog for Psychology
Mhm.
Today. I want to write more books. I just put out an e-course that goes along with my book. And I do a ton of public speaking, keynoting, like I'll do in Austin for the
Right.
EntreArchitect Annual Meeting. And then also many virtual trainings on mental health awareness, promoting positive health, on the psychology of money, emotional intelligence, communication skills, you name it. And I love what I do. I find it so meaningful and rewarding. And I'm glad you brought up imposter syndrome because I do address that in my book as well as perfection. And those are two aspects of ego that I call sand traps on the road to success. And we all have egos as part of the human condition. And it's our mind's understanding of ourselves. And actually, our egos cause us a lot of misery and self sabotage and can cause us some financial struggle and impede our business growth. So, I provide practical tools and tips for how to recover from imposter syndrome, how to battle perfectionism, and really find that healthy self esteem, which I always say is midway between diva and doormat. And dudes can be divas too, but really those are two aspects of ego. When we have an inflated sense of self, or we're not valuing ourselves, and there's a financial impact to both of those. So it's important to manage our egos and really connect with that deeper, higher self within, and use that deeper intuition as our compass in business.
I love that. Spoiler alert for everybody out there. I have now already come up with the title. Joyce is going to be our guest on Context and Clarity Live here pretty soon. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But the title for Context and Clarity that week, I'm pretty sure, is going to be Dudes, Divas, and Doormats.
I love that. That's
that's that's
fantastic.
you handed it right to me, so we've got to use that.
Brilliant. Oh, we'll have fun. I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming up here. Let me see. It's coming up October 6th, so that'll be a special treat. Joyce will join us October 6th for Context and Clarity Live, but before that, you'll be back here September 19th for a preview of your keynote talk. As you said, you're presenting one of the keynotes for the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. So I don't want to give too much away, right? You'll be back here September 19th to preview that talk, but maybe can you give us the title, um, and just in a few sentences what the talk is going to be about?
I am going to be talking about how to build your mental wealth, which is having both mental well being and financial prosperity. So, really getting into your psychology of money. It's inspirational, it's thought provoking, it's a game changer. And it's going to help you feel better as a business owner, manage all the stressors that you have, and create a vision for your greatest success without setting any ceilings on your achievements. So I love supporting people to become their best. So I can't wait to meet everyone there.
I love that. There's so many parallels with the EntreArchitect community, and Mark R. LePage um, started what became the EntreArchitect community with a blog, way back, was it 12 years ago now, I think. And what you're just talking about is so parallel, because it's all about supporting small firm architects, help them build better businesses that support everything that they want to do, their families, their lives, um, build a better business that helps you, gives you the ability to practice your art. So I think that everybody out there in the EntreArchitect community and beyond, if you're a small firm architect, you're going to want to connect with Joyce Marter, hear what she has to say. She's an entrepreneur, she's a psychotherapist, and the author of The Financial Mindset Fix. She'll deliver one of the keynotes, like I said, and she'll be talking about improving your mental health and promoting your financial wealth at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting in August, Texas, November 1st through 3rd. So if you own a small firm, or you aspire to own a small architecture firm, or even if you work for a small architecture firm, go over to entrearchitect.com/annual meeting. That's two words, smash them up like it's one word. So entrearchitect.com/annual meeting. I've got it down in the lower left-hand corner of your screen right now. Go check it out for more information about the conference. Again, it's the first ever live conference dedicated just to small firm entrepreneur architects. So check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. You are going to meet and hear from people like Joyce Marter. And if you've been here for the 15 or 20 minutes or so that we've been here live, and you've heard what Joyce has to say, I'm pretty sure that what she's going to talk about, what we talked about today, what we'll talk about in a few weeks on Context and Clarity Live, is really going to resonate with you. And of course, you can pick up a copy of the Financial Mindset Fix. Where is it available, Joyce?
It's available on Amazon, on Audible, in bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart, you name it.
Awesome. Everywhere that you can you can get a book, you can find the financial mindset fix. Joyce, thank you very much for joining me for this introduction conversation. Again, everybody, she's going to be back in a few weeks to give us a longer preview of her actual talk, her keynote at the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. So join us then, and you'll learn more about the actual talk. But it's great to meet you, Joyce. Great to get to know you a little bit better. And we
Like,
look forward to talking again soon.
sounds great.
All right. Thanks to Joyce, and thanks to everybody out there, either live with us now or in the future that's watching us. Again, entrearchitect.com/annual meeting is where you can find all the information about the upcoming conference for small firm architects. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.